Washington once again moved this week to shut down government operations when members of Congress couldn't agree, even with those in their own party, about how much money to spend, which makes it tougher than prior standoffs, like in 1981, when Louis Rukeyser on Wall Street Week described the split, which back then was between the Congress and then President Ronald Reagan.
In darkest Washington, the Reagan administration stuck to its proposed $695 billion budget, a number that in Washington is somehow regarded as lean and austere. And the Democratic leadership in Congress stuck to its view that the budget is, as one senator put it, cruel, inhuman, and unfair.
We asked our international economics and policy correspondent Michael McKee to look back at other times when the government moved to shut down and what the consequences were.
Mr. Rukeyser was worried about the fight over a $695 billion budget. The budget they're fighting over up on Capitol Hill today is $6.9 trillion, 10 times bigger. Does that worry Wall Street? Well, not so much. Shutdowns have become an almost regular thing, with 20 since 1977. Most of them have lasted only a couple of days, but even the two longest in 1995 and 2018 produced only a yawn in the markets, a brief dip, and then a gain for stocks. So you might well ask, what's one more? And you'd be right, unless, well, here's what could go wrong. First, analysts say this shutdown could last a lot longer. It's not a fight between Democrats and Republicans, but between Republicans and Republicans first. Until they can agree, they can't even begin to fight with Democrats. While the government is in what the Congressional Budget Office euphemistically calls a funding gap, roughly 3 million federal workers won't be paid. Many of them, including more than 1 million servicemen and women, will still have to work, but for free. Normally, it's a problem for those workers that is solved when the shutdown ends and they get back pay. But if this goes on for a month or so, it will affect consumer spending. While so far, shutdowns have not hurt overall confidence in the economy, a long one might just do that. You can't see any of the other prior incidents in GDP, but there's a recession risk in a fragile economy these days. Also, a short shutdown won't affect the Fed, which will be open, but a long one, although the economic data for September have been collected, the numbers can't be released if no one is there to release them. We may not have data on jobs or inflation before the next Fed meeting on November 1st. Even worse, if the shutdown were to last through October, or God forbid, November, a lot of data won't even be collected. Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond President Tom Barkin tells me that would be a problem for policymakers.
It would be hard to figure out what's actually happening in the economy without the jobs data, which is the best information on the labor market. It's hard to know what's happening in the economy without the inflation data, the PCE inflation data, which comes from the Department of Commerce. But we'll do our best.
Or, as one observer put it, how do you achieve a soft landing if the pilots are blind?